right, 30 seconds.
Thank you.
From the Civic Media World Headquarters in Madison, Wisconsin, it's the Todd Allbaugh Show. And now, pursuing truth wherever it may lead, here's your host, Todd Allbaugh.
Across Wisconsin on the Civic Media Radio Network and streaming worldwide on the Civic Media app. Good afternoon, everybody. Todd Allbaugh along with Mr. Aaron Zommers on the board. It is now 6 minutes past the hour of 2 o'clock on this Thursday, September 25th, 2025. It is a great day to be a Wisconsinite at the world headquarters, downtown Madison, intersection of State and Fairchild. It is great to be with you. A sunny sky, perfect autumn, fall day, Mr. Zommers. Went up to Wonder Steak, got a little coffee here before the show. Blue skies, temperatures in the mid-70s, no humidity. It's one of those, is my favorite time of year in Wisconsin.
Yeah, I'm here for it. The no humidity is key.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Get out there and enjoy it, folks. Meteorologist Brittany Merlot says nice weather going to last into next week. So get out there, grab a hold of it, because come February, you'll be saying, why didn't I get out and enjoy the nice weather back in September? So should be a great afternoon, great couple of days. So enjoy the weather. Going to talk later on in this hour to Civic Media's political editor and founder of the Recombobulation Area, Dan Schaefer. Been a discombobulating week in state political news. New gubernatorial candidate on the Republican side. Some people call him, I think I'm going to start using that now, Zommers. Trump says it. You know, some people are saying, many people are saying, they call him Toxic Tom Tiffany.
You know, many people are saying.
Many people are saying. He goes,
thank you for your attention to this matter.
Dan Schaefer will help us recombobulate, and we'll talk about the Bucks a little bit and the Brewers, because nobody is more Milwaukee on this show than Dan Schaefer. Well, maybe our next guest is as Milwaukee. And then in hour number 2, allergy season is upon us, Zommers. Don't we know it? Fall allergies or spring allergies. What's worse? And at 3:35, Keegan Kelly, writer for Cracked.com, national publication, back on the show, talking about the return of Jimmy Kimmel on ABC this week, what it means for not just late-night television and broadcast news, but free speech in this country. Keegan Kelly at 3:35. Also, hour 2, another edition of Civic Media's Green and Gold text to win multi-state contest. Your chance to win cash and prizes. But right now, no bigger. Well, why do you cash and prizes when you have our next guest live from Milwaukee? He is a two-time chair of the Democratic Party of Wisconsin, a Navy veteran, an attorney, and author. Our friend Matt Flynn joins us from Milwaukee. Matt, how are you?
Good to be with you, Todd. Looking forward to the Todd Allbaugh show this hour.
It's always great. Is it nice down in Milwaukee today as well?
Beautiful, beautiful blue sky, mid-70s. It's not going to last, Todd. That's the problem.
Fall is always the shortest season, right? I have friends that have a nice sailboat down in Lake Michigan, and I went down for about 4.5 hours. It was raining, so we just had to stay in the marina there on Lake Michigan. But my gosh, I mean, the shores of Lake Michigan by Milwaukee this time of year, beautiful.
Yeah. No, it definitely is. And the yacht club and the marinas are going to still sending boats out for another month or so. The people have very, very strong stomachs.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's get into the top story of the day, Matt. I appreciate you coming on short notice. As some listeners to this program know, I spent a number of years working on military affairs for former U.S. Congressman Scott Klug. I did not serve. I did not wear the uniform, as they say. Matt is a Navy veteran. And so I wanted your take, your insight on this. Let's start with this story that I believe was broken by the Washington Post today. Headline, Hegseth orders rare urgent meeting of hundreds of generals and admirals. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has ordered hundreds of U.S. military generals and admirals to gather on short notice and without a stated reason at a Marine Corps base in Virginia next week, sowing confusion and alarm after the Trump administration's firing of numerous senior leaders this year. A highly unusual directive was sent to virtually all of the military's top commanders worldwide, according to more than a dozen people familiar with the matter. It was issued earlier this week against the backdrop of a potential government shutdown. And as Hegseth's overtly political moves have deepened a sense of distress amongst his opponents who fear he is erasing the Defense Department's status as a nonpartisan institution. In a statement today, Pentagon spokesman Sean Parnell affirmed that Hegseth, quote, will be addressing his senior military leaders early next week, unquote, but he offered no additional details. It was not immediately clear whether the White House is involved with the meeting or if President Trump also intends to be there. Now, apparently, skipping down the story a little bit by the Washington Post, what they're reporting is around 800 generals, flag officers of the U.S. military from all over the world are going to be brought to just outside of D.C. at Quantico, Virginia, for this meeting. Matt, I want to bring you in now because you can fill in. You've seen the article as well. Give us just, I think this is important. People who haven't worn the uniform don't understand the purpose for chain of command. They don't always understand the purpose of why the military works as it does. As a veteran, as somebody who knows military history, explain your first reaction to this story by the Washington Post.
Yeah, I think it's disgusting. And let me tell you what is really happening. The military has always been nonpartisan ever since George Washington. Something like this has never happened. It didn't happen. Abraham Lincoln didn't do it. Dwight Eisenhower in the Second World War didn't do it. And all of the service academies who prepare officers drill it into everybody's head. We're nonpartisan. We're non-political. Donald Trump is a malignant tumor, and this is coming from Trump. And when Trump speaks, Vladimir Putin is the ventriloquist. By bringing these people in like this, they are showing dominance. They're showing you have to be loyal to Trump. Trump already now interviews personally every flag officer to make sure they're loyal to him. This is contrary to American tradition. The second thing is what's going on is that with the government shutdown, Trump is now threatening to lay off a lot of people. What he may try to do, and this will also please Putin, Trump has betrayed us to the Russians, by the way. What he's going to do is he will fire some flag officers. And if he doesn't think they're loyal to him, to try to inflict pain. Everybody listening to this show must understand something. Donald Trump is an enemy of the United States. He's serving Russian interests. And by doing this, by trying to demoralize the chain of command, make believe you're an admiral or a general. You have a wife and kids. This is your career. You don't make a lot of money, but there's a lot of prestige in it. And you have a choice. You knuckle under to this guy, or you lose your entire career. That's what's going on.
And to be fair, our statewide listening audience, I know Matt very well. I'm going to say that. We spent a lot of time together on and off the air, read his books, by the way. We'll talk more about that later. I know where this is coming from, but to be fair, Matt, I think there might be people who say, well, geez, Flynn, that's some pretty strong language there. But to back you up, there is new reporting as recently as this morning that even Republicans in Washington, D.C., even on Fox News last night and this morning, Fox News is calling Trump's relationship with Putin, quote, weird, unquote, and peculiar, unquote. I think even people in his own party are saying, what's up with this guy? I want to read one more thing here, then back to Matt Flynn after this. The Washington Post says top commanders in conflict zones and senior military leaders stationed throughout Europe, the Middle East, Asia-Pacific region are among those expected to attend Hegseth's meetings of people familiar with the matter, who spoke on condition of anonymity because they weren't supposed to talk about it. The order does not apply to top military officers who hold staff positions, unquote. That's from the Washington Post story in this exclusive today. Matt Flynn, again, talk about the danger to the rank and file when you're pulling out people, the COs, the commanding officers from some of the most dangerous and volatile military station places around the world. When you take all those people out and put them in one spot, that's I believe unprecedented and not what military teachings at the academies would tell you, right?
Right, and it's potentially dangerous. But let me tell you the two layers of danger. One might be that they have all these guys together and somebody drones them, or Yemen and some of these places, when the top guy leaves, they take the chance of attack. I am less concerned about that, even though it's very real, because every flag officer has a deputy or a chief of staff who really is very good. What's much worse is that what message this sends to the rank and file, to sergeants, to enlisted men, to junior officers. I was Lieutenant JG. And if my admiral was summoned and then came back, and it's sort of like he'd gone through a North Korean experience and suddenly loved Trump and all this, that sends a terribly demoralizing message to the rank and file. This is being done to show dominance. Trump himself is a draft dodger, bone spurs. He was too yellow to serve himself. So you have a yellow bone spurs calling all of our flag officers in to demoralize the military. Is there any Republican out there who thinks this is a good idea? If you do, you're more for Putin than you are for America.
Back to the Washington Post story. It says none of the people who spoke with the Washington Post could recall a defense secretary ever ordering so many of the military's generals and admirals to assemble like this. Several said it raised security concerns. To Matt's point, quote, people are very concerned. They have no idea what it means, unquote, one person said. Others expressed frustration that even many commanders stationed overseas will be required to attend Hegseth's impromptu summit, unquote. Let's go into a couple minutes here before the break, Matt. We'll come back after this. But you touched on this earlier, that this is on the heels of several people either being forced to retire or outright firing. And there is a disproportionate, and the Washington Post story points this out, disproportionate number of women, in particular in command positions, who have been forced out. And it would seem to me, Matt, as the military, who as former Joint Chiefs of Staff Colin Powell, himself a Black American, said that the military historically has been a place of equalization for Americans. And now this appears to be a step back.
People are forgetting three things, Todd. I agree with you. One is he called people suckers and losers. He did. People who had given their lives, he called them suckers and losers. Number two, through Tommy Tuberville, he stopped all flag promotions for 10 months and demoralized the military. Everything he does benefits Putin. And number three, to your point, to my knowledge, virtually every senior flag officer who was female or black, like the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the CNO, he simply fired them. He fired them. Said it was woke to put a black man or a woman in charge. Are you kidding me? And this is what's going on. And the Republican Party has knuckled under Trump. They're knuckling under Vladimir Putin.
Washington Post says the firings were the latest in a wider purge of national security agencies' top ranks. Since entering office, the Trump administration has also fired the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Charles Q. Brown Jr., the chief naval operations officer, the commandant of the Coast Guard, and the Air Force vice chief of staff, amongst others. The list includes a disproportionate number of women, according to the Washington Post. We'll come back. Talk with Matt Flynn a little bit more about this. Also, in an underreported story, the government is set to shut down next week. Who is at fault? And what's Matt Flynn going to do in October? He'll give us his calendar update as well. Don't go anywhere. It's Todd. It's Matt. It's Zommers across Wisconsin on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Connecting dots, not just talking.
Very
points.
good, very good.
WMDX.
It's a good segment, Todd, an important story.
I think so, yeah.
Washington location and only for the month of September. Check out these once-in-a-blue moon deals, American-made, locally crafted Verlo.
Skilled trade workers are the backbone of every community, and also the Army National Guard.
Mark from Prairie du Sac texts in and says, I'd feel a heck of a lot better if there was a real military professional person leading DoD, not a talking head from Fox who has limited command or military experience.
Right.
Right, yeah.
Right. He's taking orders from Trump. He really is.
For sure.
Find out how you too can learn a trade profession by visiting nationalguard.com. Sponsored by the Wisconsin.
He also used unsecured networks to talk about the launch of a military operation, and all of our enemies read it in advance.
I know.
Whether you're a dedicated vegan, vegetarian, or just someone who's curious about alternatives.
You think Dwight Eisenhower would do that?
Madison's Vegan Fest is the perfect opportunity to explore plant-based foods and learn a bit more about why fresh food.
I think if he had, we wouldn't think of him as Dwight Eisenhower.
Right.
Exploring this fan favorite festival. WMDX Madison
Oh,
is proud to be a
Matt.
presenting sponsor of Vegan Fest 2025. See you there.
I'm Dan Schaefer. Let's recombobulate. We're taking a little bit of a detour this week on the Recombobulation Minute so I can tell you about a brand new project we've been working on here at Civic Media that we're really excited about. So here at the Civic Media Network, we produce a tremendous amount of content on any given day. From our news team all over the state to our daily lineup of political talk and commentary shows to our many podcasts and weekend shows to local morning shows to all kinds of digital content, there can be a lot to keep up with. But now we're bringing you a new way to find all of this tremendous content all in one place. It's a new email newsletter called Civic Media Today. Like the Recombobulation area, it also publishes on Substack. This is going to be your one-stop shop to connect
About 25
with everything
seconds.
across
Thank
the
you.
Civic Media extended.
I hear the train a-comin', it's rolling around the bend, and I ain't seen the sunshine since I don't know when. I'm stuck in Folsom Prison, and time keeps dragging on. But that train keeps rolling on down to San Antone.
Welcome back to Todd and Matt
When I was
Direct
just
at
a
23
baby,
past the hour of 2 o'clock. Whenever you hear that music, Johnny Cash, you know our friend Matt Flynn can't be far behind it. That is the case today. Two-time chair of the Democratic Party of Wisconsin, U.S. Navy veteran, attorney, and author Matt Flynn joins us from his library in beautiful Milwaukee. No, well, I mean, they didn't name a library after him, but he has a very nice library there in his home. How many, we'll get to this in a minute, Matt, but how many of the books behind you have you actually written?
Well, I've written 6 books, and
6 books, yeah.
we're going to have a reading and a launch of my newest one at Boswell Books in Milwaukee on October 14 at 6:30 p.m. So anybody listening, please come by Boswell Books, October 14, 6:30 p.m.
We'll repeat that one more time before we leave, and Zomer is going to put it in the show notes as well. Talk with Matt Flynn, and he's a Renaissance man, you understand, Matt Flynn. He can come on this show and talk about a number of things, but in particular, I think it's important, Matt, on this story in the Washington Post today that Secretary of Defense, and I'm still calling it Secretary of Defense, I'm not going to call it Department of War, Hegseth is ordering a rare, I think the term unprecedented is in line here. As Gilligan would say on Gilligan's Island, not only that, it's never happened before, but Hegseth is bringing all these generals and flag officers to Quantico, Virginia, even ones who are stationed overseas, and they're not telling anyone, according to the Washington Post, including those in the military, why they're coming. And we're on the verge of a government shutdown. Matt, before we get to the government shutdown, give us a minute or so, just as a veteran, on the importance of doing things in a system and how that serves you if and when, God forbid, the military is called upon to take defensive action.
The chain of command is the core, I would say the core culture of the military. To give you an example, you take the Marine Corps, you take the Army guys that landed on D-Day, they're told, go on that beach. They don't want to go on that beach. It's dangerous as hell, but they're told that by their lieutenants and captains, because their lieutenants and captains are going with them, and the flag officer that orders it knows that a lot of them will be killed, but we need it to take the island. In the Navy, you're told during the Battle of Midway, the Battle of Leyte Gulf, I had a friend whose father was a gunnery officer in Leyte Gulf. All right, a destroyer, a cruiser, go that direction, take on that Japanese aircraft carrier. They may get blown out of the water. Many of them did. They do it because they obey the chain of command. When you have a guy like Trump, who's a draft dodger, flat out said he had bone spurs, is called the military suckers, losers, and for 10 months barred their promotions of flag officers. You have somebody who is trying to demoralize the flag officers who are the top. They're the generals and the admirals, and that seeps down. So if you're a sergeant, you're a seaman apprentice, you're a lieutenant JG, what's going on? It demoralizes, and the only purpose of this, there's no military purpose. The only purpose of this is to show dominance by Trump over them and to weed out people who he thinks aren't loyal to him. And with the government shutdown coming up, it's an important part of it, he's going to fire some of them to teach them a lesson and teach America a lesson.
One more question, Matt Flynn. When we look at what's happening in here domestically and Donald Trump deploying National Guard members in Washington, D.C., both active duty and National Guard members in Los Angeles, threatening to do so in Chicago, although the mayor and the governor there stood up to him and he backed down. He claims he's going to go to Memphis next. With seemingly, I'll call it, and you tell me if I'm overstating it, the militarization of the U.S. government in some of these domestic cities for, I believe, political reasons. Now we have a situation where we don't have an adjutant or a Joint Chiefs of Staff like General Milley, who just said, I'm not doing this. Now we're putting, yes, and I'm going to say men because they're all men, yes, men in these positions. Aren't we reaching a very dangerous time? I don't want to get people afraid, but I think our antennae should be up on this, Matt.
You're absolutely right. What we're doing is he is single-handedly trying to break the nonpartisan tradition of our military. And he's trying to look like a tough guy. He shoots a couple of speedboats with drugs in the Caribbean, that kind of thing. But he's not doing anything to help Poland, Romania, and Estonia, who are being threatened by Russia. Nothing to help Ukraine. What he is he's deliberately insulting our allies, Canada, humiliating them, NATO, and at the same time trying to look like a tough guy. Well, it's not just the draft dodger thing. It's not that he's a draft dodger because he had deep-seated convictions against war. What he was he was chicken to go. That's what it was. And now this clown is bringing in all of our people to try to demoralize them and to change the nonpartisan nature of the military and pretend to look tough on military matters when he's betraying NATO and betraying Ukraine, betraying our allies.
Time always goes too quickly, Matt Flynn, and we'll talk with Dan Schaefer coming up next about this government shutdown. But we have about a minute left. I want to ask you. You have a new book out. You're going to be at a book signing at Boswell Books in Milwaukee, October 14th at 6:30. Zomers has the details there. One question: Republican gubernatorial candidate of Wisconsin, Bill Berrien, was he the basis for any of the characters in your new book?
I will say that given the proclivities of Barry and Epstein and Trump and Hegseth and a list as long as your arm, the core message of this book, American Dawn, is hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. The Republicans that do this to this woman pay the ultimate price. You will like this book a lot. American Dawn, October 14, Boswell Books in Milwaukee and Downer Avenue, 6:30 p.m. book signing.
Bill Berrien bringing back Bill Clinton's triangulation in more ways than one. But Matt Flynn always giving us great information. Matt, I always appreciate you. Have a great day, my friends. Stay tuned. Dan Schaefer is next to recombobulate across Wisconsin. Bye-bye. Thanks, Matt. Appreciate you.
It's a great show as always.
All right. Thank you.
Talk
to you later. Bye-bye.
We'll catch up.
X. No artificial dyes. How can Wisconsin food manufacturers get around it? I'm Pam Yankee with
Well,
a
that was
quick update
fun.
on what's
That
happening in
was
food and
a lot
farming
of
news
fun.
on a
That phone
Thursday.
call
One
was somebody
ice cream
calling,
maker in Chautauqua
doing
never
a
had
stand-up
artificial
comedy
dyes.
tour.
His
They're gonna.
story next.
and
Really?
It's a group that's gonna have a show in Amory in October. So I had them email me the information. We'll have to look at that and see if it's someone we want to maybe have on the show.
All right, very good. I
Multi-year
like that.
commitment options, digital tools and remote deposit, and the ability to only borrow what you need when you need it. Our operating line of credit makes financing your needs easier. Visit agcountry.com/line of credit or call 800-450-9858 to learn more. Terms apply. See website for details.
Alan Kirshner from Kirshner Super Premium Ice Creams in Chautauqua has only been in business about a year. But from the very beginning, he decided they were not going to use artificial dyes at all.
We're the only ice cream shop in Wisconsin that has never used artificial dyes. So from the very beginning, that was before the national conversation on artificial dyes. We were doing it. We also don't use carrageenan. It's a kind of it's red seaweed. It's a cheap stabilizer that's virtually in almost all ice cream. That's why a lot of people, after they eat ice cream, after 20
Milwaukee's
minutes,
very own
irritates them.
Dan
That's
Schaefer.
How you doing, Todd? Good to see you.
Always good to see you, Dan Schaefer. I'm doing well. How about you?
Hanging in there, staying busy, you know.
Just another slow news week.
Just another slow
always.
news week in Wisconsin. That's right.
Ay. Ridiculous. All right, well, we could talk a little bit about the governor's race. You got a new piece out at the recombobulation area.
That's right. Wrote a little
what do
bit
you
about Mr. Tiffany, who I
Yeah.
think is probably going to be the Republican nominee.
All right, very good. He has a farm breakfast this weekend.
Is that so?
I think it's called Breakfast at Tiffany's.
I was wondering what the joke was going to be, and somehow I didn't get that. Yeah, that's fair. Honestly, that's an appropriate reaction.
Yeah. And we're off to a flying start.
Been saving that one for the right time here.
Just oddly enough, it just popped into my head. I can't do my own taxes, but I can come up with stupidity. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, have that on standby right there. Cue
Okay.
that up. Yeah. I mean, we want to come in with Dan's theme, but later on. Yeah.
It's good. We'll play some. Am I right? Am I remembering the band name correctly? Deep Blue something? Is that what the band was called?
That's correct.
Wow.
My 90s alternative rock
Dan
knowledge is
Schaefer.
encyclopedic.
Look at that. That's amazing.
Now, do you know the album name?
No,
I wouldn't have if I wasn't looking at it. 11th Song is the
That's
name of the album.
11th song. I probably had the
weird.
CD, or I probably had either the CD or the cassette single for that song in 1995 or whenever it came out. You know.
So talk to your kids
That's
about
awesome.
the risks of vaping. Because when you talk, they hear you.
Learn more at underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Where working people come to talk. It's the Rick Smith Show, weeknights at 9 on the Civic Media Radio Network. Join me for an honest approach to the issues American working families care about. No talking points, no focus groups. Get ready for a heavy dose of democracy, fairness, grit, and no apologies. It's current affairs from
All right,
a
about
working
25
class
seconds.
labor
Thank you.
perspective. Facts are center, science.
There is a fifth dimension, beyond that which is known to man.
Milwaukee's best.
It's a dimension as vast as space, and as timeless as infinity.
Hey, man, what about Milwaukee, man?
It is the middle ground between light and shadow, between science and superstition.
I think God would want us to go to Milwaukee.
And it lies between the pit of a man's fears and the summit of his knowledge.
What do you think about Milwaukee?
This is the dimension of imagination. You are now entering the recombobulation area.
I mean, we need a recombobulation area.
We all need a recombobulation area. 35 minutes now past the hour of 2 o'clock. Welcome back to the Todd Allbaugh Show across the Civic Media Radio Network. Aaron Zommers on the board. And with that introduction, it can only mean that one person is on the other side. He is the political editor for Civic Media and the founder of the Recombobulation Area. You can find all of his work, including that of all the folks at the Recombobulation Area, at the recombobulationarea.news. The recombobulationarea.news. Dan Schaefer, live from Milwaukee, Cream City, USA. How are you?
I'm doing well, Todd. Always wonderful to join you here on the Todd Allbaugh Show. And you're right. There can be no one else who that introduction could possibly apply to other than yours truly here, the Recombobulation Area. Always fun to hear that one.
It is. It is. It's a great intro. We appreciate you taking the time. You're a busy guy, Dan. I don't know where to begin. We've got new people jumping into the gubernatorial race on both sides of the aisle. One of the guys is looking up thruples and attacking people's sex lives at the same time. We've got a government that's on the verge of shutdown in Washington, D.C. I wish there was a term for how I felt right now.
Are you feeling a little discombobulated here, Mr. Allbaugh? Could that be? Could that possibly be it? Is that how you're feeling today?
You've nailed it. I am feeling very discombobulated.
Well, it's a good thing I'm here to help piece things back together. You know, help you get your bag together, you head to your gate, get your shoes back on, all of those things that we need to do at the Recombobulation Area.
It's great to have you here because there is so much going on. Should we start with the gubernatorial race, Dan? Because I know you've been working on a new piece at the recombobulationarea.news on that.
Sure, let's start there. Wrote a piece published today about Tom Tiffany throwing his hat into the ring for the race for governor. It seems like he has kind of sort of been campaigning for the past few months, but he made it official with an announcement on the Dan O'Donnell Show Tuesday afternoon. Had an event in Wausau yesterday. We had some coverage there at Civic Media from our news team as well. But just really taking a look at Tom Tiffany and his candidacy, and I think he is very likely to be the Republican nominee for governor in Wisconsin for the 2026 election. And I think part of that is because, he's a thrice elected congressman, been raising his profile in the media over the past in recent years and months and whatever. But I also think it's a kind of a lackluster field. And so I think Tom Tiffany comes into this race. I think he is perhaps a Trump endorsement and a strong fundraising quarter away from clearing the field for the Republican primary. But I also think when you look ahead to his prospects for the general election, I think it gets a little bit complicated for him, gets a little bit tricky. But I do think Tiffany's announcement is the most significant one that we have seen on the Republican side of this first open race for governor since 2010.
Tom Tiffany, former state senator here, and did a lot of, in my opinion, bad things legislatively to change environmental laws to allow mining in northern Wisconsin as part of former Republican Governor Scott Walker's, again, my words, sham piece of law. He claimed he was going to create thousands of jobs, mining jobs in northern Wisconsin, and to my knowledge, there have been zero. But the laws did get changed, the environmental laws, and Tom Tiffany was a large part of changing those in his state Senate district at the time. And that's why he gets this name, Toxic Tom Tiffany, which I think is deserved. But to your point, I think it's also fair, as a former Republican myself, I think you're right because of, we've already seen, I believe, Tony Weed, Congressman Tony Weed of the 8th Congressional District has endorsed him today. My sense is it's going to be, not an avalanche, but a drip of next will be Fitz and then Grothman or whoever. I think he's got if there is an establishment Republican Party anymore, he probably has that. But to your also to your point, I don't think he plays well statewide in general. But do you think that Trump's just going to hold on. I mean, I think Trump looks at this like The Apprentice, the old TV show. And I'm not sure that he doesn't want to see a little chaos in Wisconsin and have him fight it out a little bit. I don't think he wants to just crown somebody right away. What do you think?
Well, what do you think he wants a little bit of a reality TV drama to unfold here in the primary? Yeah, you could be right about that. But and I guess there's a little bit of a kind of version of that happening with Bill Berrien and the news about him this week.
Well, you mentioned thrice elected. Speaking of thruples, and here's the deal. Here's the deal. As long as people are of age and it's consensual, whatever people want to do consensually in their own bedrooms, hey, have at it, have fun. Who am I to judge? But it's the fact that Bill Berrien has made it part of his campaign to attack marginalized people, particularly on sexual spectrums, and also, taking morality from his faith and putting it into politics. That he's basically being a hypocrite because Dan Bice in the Journal Sentinel did some research and kind of exposed Mr. Berrien for being a hypocrite.
Yeah, all those issues aside, and that's perhaps a separate conversation that we could have sometime. I don't think it helps him in a Republican primary. I don't think it helps him politically by any stretch of the imagination. And I've seen some people say that that he should drop out or his campaign is over or whatever it might be. And again, what somebody does in their own personal business is none of our business. But I think when you're looking at it from a political standpoint, it's not something that's going to help him politically. And I don't think his campaign was really going anywhere before that story was happening either.
Spent a lot of money on ads.
He spent a lot of money, but I think compared to some of the other campaigns we've seen from self-funders on the Republican side in Wisconsin, be it Tim Michaels running for governor a few years ago, or Eric Hovde running for Senate last year. I think Berrien's announcement landed flat compared to either of them, even to begin with, and now he's got this whole other set of issues that he's dealing with as well. So I don't think he has a great chance of winning in this primary. I also don't think Josh Schoman's campaign, Washington County executive, he's a young guy, he's energetic, he's working hard, he's traveling all over the state. I think it's significant that he hasn't picked up any major endorsements since May, since he launched his campaign. So he may be, continuing on this path in the primary. But if Donald Trump endorses Tom Tiffany, which he could do, we don't know. Right. And Tiffany has a strong fundraising quarter, because I think that is one of the knocks on Tiffany is that he has not been a particularly prolific fundraiser. He's in a deep red district. He doesn't have to fundraise the way that some people in more competitive districts might have to, but he still hasn't done very well. Like, this is his name came up as a possible candidate for Senate a couple of years ago, and then he had a really bad fundraising quarter, and it was like, well, that's the end of that. He's not going to be, he's not going to be in the mix there. So remains to be seen how this goes, but I do think Tiffany walks into this as the clear leader in the primary of the three candidates who have announced so far, three major candidates who have announced so far. And I think he is by far the most likely candidate to secure the Republican nomination for governor.
And just to put a fine tip on it, poor choice of words, on Bill Berrien, I think you're right. Whatever people do in their personal lives, normally it wouldn't be news. So people go, why is Todd bringing this up? He's just doing it to be goofy or whatever. No, the reason I believe that it is news and should be talked about is because Berrien made it news by coming out forcefully against the very issues that, by the way, he does not deny Bice's reporting on this. And he's simply saying, well, they're trying to come after me. So he clearly was looking at these or part of the social media platform that is into different sexual exploits or whatever you want to call it. But it's the fact that he is a hypocrite on it. And that is why it's news, in my opinion.
I agree. Yeah, that is. I mean, it's, he's staked out a pretty anti-trans rights,
gay
position,
rights, whatever.
Anti-LGBT rights, however you want to characterize it, in his platform, in his announcement video. And the fact that he is,
Looking up,
and also I
looking
think
up
some of the chatter that I've heard too, it just shows that he's kind of not ready for prime time. As if he's got this kind of stuff out there that he's not taking care of his online footprint, that's going to be a problem too.
So to your point, let's say that Tiffany makes it through. And by the way, I think we have some audio from Tom Tiffany's announcement. He had a breakfast up on the farm. Zomerins, this is from the announcement. Here we go.
Said, what about breakfast at Tiffany? She said, I think I remember the bill, and as I recall, I think.
Wait, that was not from Tom Tiffany's announcement?
I thought it was.
Oh, sorry.
I guess I need to do a better job at fact checking.
See, this is why Schaefer thinks he has a reputation. You understand? He has a reputation. He doesn't need this dog and pony show.
You got us all there, Todd. You got us.
Well, we set that up a little bit beforehand. But let's say that Tiffany makes it through the Republican primary. I think that's a fair thing to say.
Yeah.
Let's talk. I mean, already, and we brought this up with Trygve Olsen and Pat Kreitlow yesterday. If you look at people, whether it's Jim Doyle on the Democratic side or Tommy Thompson on the Republican side, other people as well, historically, when you run for a statewide office, in particular governor, you want to think forward. I want to be your governor because this is what we can do together. And it seems like to me in Tom Tiffany's announcement, he's immediately saying how horrible Wisconsin is, how horrible everything is, and pick some very, in my opinion, hateful things to pick out specific, very small minority people in our state to pick on in order to get this nomination. And I don't think that plays well.
I think you're right, but it's what we've kind of come to expect from the MAGA Republicans, and I think part of it is just playing to the base as well. And I think that's the type of candidate that I think we should expect Tiffany to be. I don't think he is going to be the type of candidate that is going to be the moderate that has all kinds of crossover appeal in the state. I think he is going to be a candidate that the goal is to turn out the base. And I think the goal is to kind of run up margins in some of the reddest counties in the state. And I think it also is, kind of exemplifies an interesting shift that we're seeing for the Republican Party in Wisconsin too, because forever the stronghold was the WOW counties. The Republican stronghold was Waukesha, Ozaukee, and Washington counties, the three, historically deep red counties surrounding Milwaukee. Well, those counties have continued to purple election after election. Tim Michels was the first candidate to get under 60% in Waukesha County in forever, first Republican to get under 60 in forever. So I think it exemplifies the type of shift that we're seeing in the Republican Party as the base there being some of the more rural, exurban, western Wisconsin, northern Wisconsin areas that Tiffany is, I think the goal would be to run up bigger numbers in some of those rural areas and try to maintain in the suburbs. But I think Tiffany's going to really have some trouble in the Milwaukee area suburbs in particular. He does not have strong name recognition around here. And I think the trends there are undeniable. And I think they could accelerate with a candidate who is not really well known, doesn't have strong ties to the region.
That is the Republican side of the governor's race. More Democrats getting in as well. What's it going to take to win the Democratic primary without being seen as too far left in the general? We'll ask Dan Schaefer after this. Take your phone calls. And Giannis, are signs that he really is going to stay in Wisconsin? Dan Schaefer has the inside track on that. We'll ask him after this on the Allbaugh Show.
Wisconsin is cheering on the Brew Crew.
Always fun to recombobulate.
Always. All right, 1 second here. My dog's being weird.
Civic Media Radio Network.
Do you have 3 ex-wives in your
Sometimes they do that. So I've been told.
3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes?
By the way,
this is the best segment we've ever had.
For some reason, the track for Breakfast at Tiffany's, there's like 50 seconds of silence after the song is done.
Really?
And I don't understand why.
I just enjoyed seeing Dan Schaefer
just give
talk
up.
to his dog. All you could see is the mime part. We couldn't hear what he was saying, but it was very, you get over here, you get there. Which is also how
she
the
never
handlers...
comes. She rarely comes down. Like my office is in the downstairs of our house, and she rarely comes downstairs really at all. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, she's just like sniffing around downstairs and pawing at stuff and finding toys, and it's just like now of all times she decides to.
What kind of dog do you have, Dan Schaefer?
She's a mutt. We got her as a rescue at the Wisconsin Humane Society. So she is basically like if you know the dog from The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Santa's Little Helper. She's like the the exact clone of Santa's Little Helper. She's a little.
That's awesome.
Skittish little brown dog. Yeah.
That is great. Terry Barr wants to see the dog. What's the dog's name?
Her name is June.
June. Also the name of Philney's wife. So just interesting.
Careful about those implications, Todd. Or you might get a call from Phil.
I know June and Phil very well. No, I'm just saying. It's a popular name. Did you get the dog in June? What was the impetus to name the dog?
It's actually June, Joon. So my wife really likes the movie Benny and June, Johnny Depp movie from the 90s.
Look at that.
And so I went with that one. And yeah, she's 11 now, but she still has all of her puppy energy.
Really?
So I don't know if she's ever going to slow down. She's a lot. She's a handful. She's loud. But we love her. She's a good dog.
All right. Fantastic. Let's take Troy's call quick, and then we'll. Time it always goes too fast. We'll talk Democratic candidates quick. Anything else you want to make sure we get to?
Didn't have anything more on my list. I've just been working on the column today.
Oh yeah, we got to ask about. Does the signing of Giannis's brother mean that Giannis is going to stay even longer now with the Bucks? Because Dan has an inside track to the Giannis brothers.
I don't, but.
Welcome back to the Todd Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network. 8 minutes now before the hour 3 o'clock. Coming up in hour 2, a little what's worse for you. Fall allergies or spring allergies, we'll discuss. Keegan Kelly is here from Crack.com on the return of Jimmy Kimmel to ABC and what it means for late night and free speech. And your chance to participate in Civic Media's Green and Gold Text to Win contest. But you're already a winner if you're listening into today's show, because you're here on the day when our own Dan Schaefer, Civic Media political editor and founder of the Recombobulation Area, is here to help us recombobulate. Dan, always a pleasure to have you here. And Zommers reminds me that Think We Alone, it's by Tiffany.
That's the only reason I played it.
There we go.
We're going
to get some mileage out of that over the next year.
Yeah.
It might.
I'm
guessing some Tiffany puns.
Let's go quickly to the phone lines. Troy in Mount Horeb. Troy, you have a comment or question quick for Dan?
Yeah, real quick. You were getting to the Democrats. How worried should we be? In 2016, Trump basically partially at least got the nomination because there were so many candidates in the field that they split each other's votes, and all of a sudden this lunatic Trump wins the nomination. How worried do we have to be that the 4 or 5, if Call gets in, quote unquote, normal candidates split their vote, and these 2 other lunatics, Halsey and the beer guy, one of them get in?
That's a great question, Troy. I appreciate it. Dan Schaefer, let's talk Democratic candidates for governor of Wisconsin.
Well, I think a big primary, it's so interesting because I think there's a lot of different perspectives that we got to get out. And I don't think the beer guy, as an example, has a great shot of coming through that primary. No. But I think there's of course going to be some concern that like somebody who would win with not a plurality of or not a majority of the votes might not be as representative. But I think I think Wisconsin Democrats are also taking some steps to ensure that they have a more clear passing of the torch. They announced this initiative this week that Tony Evers is going to be involved with post primary next year. So I think there's an acknowledgement there that there is going to be a competitive primary that's going to last through next August, and they want to be in position to be able to kind of pick up that torch and get across the finish line from there.
We've had all the major Democratic candidates on this show for governor thus far. I'm very impressed, and the latest one was Francesca Hong here from Madison, and was thankful she came on. Admire her convictions, that she believes what she says, she's authentic. And also I said, while she was on the interview, I said, look, I've been tough on you from time to time. You're further left than on some things, not all, but some things. And I said also, the style, is that really going to play well if you're the nominee in the general? I thought she had a great answer. She was very kind, and she help me out, keep me honest, Somers. But to paraphrase, she basically said, look, the issues, and she named off healthcare and other things. She said, I don't think those are progressive or left or right. I think they're Wisconsin issues, and I think it plays well for all Wisconsinites. I thought it was a great answer, and she comported herself very well.
Yeah, and I think, in her announcement video from last week, too, she talked about issues like childcare and healthcare and paid leave, like a lot of issues that have not passed in Wisconsin. But if you look at the polling, they are often ones that have pretty significant majority support as well. So I think, her campaign is off to a pretty compelling start, as is, I think Kelda Roy's also last week announced her campaign. She's a regular here on the Todd Allbaugh show as well. Yeah. So your listeners know her well, especially around Madison. So I think we're going to have I'm looking forward to the conversations that this primary is going to bring out, because I think the Democratic Party nationally is in such disarray, and sometimes Wisconsin can lead the way when things are at a change moment, and I think we are at a change moment, and I think what Wisconsin voters ultimately decide is going to have ramifications that reverberate nationally too.
You gave us your guess on the Republican side. You think Tom Tiffany is going to be the nominee. I won't ask you for a decisive prediction, but if the election were held today, who's the Democratic nominee?
I really don't know. Because I think so much is going to depend on if Josh Kaul announces, if Mandela Barnes announces, if they jump into the race. I think that could really change the dynamic. But I think when I did my too early preview at the Recombobulation area, which I published about a month ago, the big four, the top four potential challengers that I had there were Sarah Rodriguez, Kelda Roy's, David Crowley, and Josh Kaul. So I think any of those four could have a real chance. And then I think Francesca Hong's the wild card, and she's, as I put in that column, and I think she's embraced that moniker a little bit in her campaign as well. So we'll see. We shall see.
There's the straw poll at the state Dem Party convention this year. My gut tells me if the people that have announced, just out of those people, I think it's a really tight matchup between Lieutenant Governor Rodriguez and State Senator Kelda Royce. I think they're the most well-known statewide right now for Democrats. But like you say, not everybody is probably in. We shall see. About a minute or so left here, a little over, Dan. Our Milwaukee Bucks, but nobody loves the Bucks more than our own Dan Schaefer. Right. Giannis Antetokounmpo's brother has been re-signed for another year. Is that a good sign that Giannis ain't going anywhere?
I think so. You signed Thanasis. He's not gonna play with anybody else other than his brother, right? So I'm glad they signed him. He's the best 15th man in NBA history, helping keep his brother in Milwaukee, providing so much energy from the sidelines and enthusiasm for the team whenever he hits the court. I love having Thanasis around. I'm looking forward to the Bucks season. We got less than a month away until we've got Bucks basketball.
Crazy. Have you got postseason Brewer tickets, Dan?
I don't have the tickets yet. I haven't decided what I want to do for that. So we'll see.
The feeling living in Milwaukee. I'm getting goosebumps out here in Madison. It has to be incredible living in Milwaukee right now.
It is incredible. I live on the side of town that's closer to the stadium, kind of on the west side of town. And like a lot of the bars and places around here have those shuttle buses that go to and from American Family Field. They are packed these days. It's a busy place. People are excited. So a lot of energy. Looking forward to a fun October.
Find all of Dan's work at therecombobulationarea.news. Dan Schaefer, thanks so much. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Thanks, Todd. Be well.
All right, take care. Dan Schaefer, everybody. Bada bing, bada boom. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Todd.
All right, talk to you soon.
Are you going to be in town for the playoffs then, I assume?
I know. I've not got tickets, and I'm not sure that's in Todd's budget. I'll be. Well, I know it's not on FanDuel, so whatever Fox or TNT or cable or whatever the hell it is, that's where you'll find me watching it probably.
Sounds good, Todd.
Right.
We'll talk
Thanks.
soon.
Yep. Bye bye.
Acting U.S. Attorney Nancy Larson.
He wrote that he intended to maximize lethality against ICE personnel and to maximize property damage at the facility.
ICE says the injured detainees were shackled and could not leave the van on their own while it was under fire, but that ICE and ATF agents ran into the line of fire to rescue detainees who were in the van. Like Stone, EBC News.
Israel is carrying out retaliatory strikes in Yemen today, targeting Houthi rebels, it says, after a drone hit southern Israel yesterday, injuring at least 20. President Trump expected to sign a TikTok deal to keep the China-based app from being banned in the U.S. This is ABC News.
You're listening to 92.7 WMDX, Madison's home for the Maggie Dawn Show, Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m.
For 92.7 WMDX News, I'm Savannah Tomei Olson. Planned Parenthood is pausing abortions in Wisconsin because of changes from the federal budget law. The new law blocks facilities that provide abortions from receiving payments from Medicaid for 1 year. Stephanie Miller, a spokesperson for Planned Parenthood, says they serve about 50,000 people per year, providing all kinds of health care, and 3 out of every 5 are covered by Medicaid. At first, a judge said the law could not go into effect, but as the case has moved through the court system, a federal appeals judge is allowing it to move forward. The change goes into effect next Wednesday, October 1st, and that's when Planned Parenthood will pause abortions. Miller says from there they hope to resume services soon once they figure out what to do under this new law. Plus, she says they're working to see as many patients as possible over the next few days. The last time Planned Parenthood of Wisconsin paused abortion services was when the U.S. Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade in June 2022, making Wisconsin's 1849 abortion ban the law of the land. They resumed abortion services a little over a year later when a Dane County judge ruled that the old law does not apply to consensual abortion. There are only 2 other clinics that provide the service in the state. They're both in Milwaukee. Data from the Society of Family Planning shows there are about 500 to 600 abortions in Wisconsin every month. Meanwhile, an alert from local health officials, there's been a spike in overdoses over the last few days. Staff from Public Health Madison-Dane County say officials received at least 5 confirmed overdose calls in a 24-hour period. That's unusual for our area. They believe there may be a change in the drug supply. They encourage people with substance use disorders to have fentanyl test strips and Narcan on hand. And the health department has them available for people. That's at their locations on East Washington Avenue and on South Park Street. I'm Savannah Tomei Olson. You're listening to 92.7 WMDX News.
It's the Packers and the Cowboys. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. The Packers play the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. Jordan Love says they learned some tough lessons in Cleveland during their loss to the Browns.
Every week is opportunity to learn and grow and experience things as a team. And obviously, I think defense did a great job last week. Offensively, special teams, we didn't do enough.
Baseball, the Brewers have tonight off after beating the Padres 3-1 in San Diego. Aaron Ashby awarded the win. Abner Uribe got the save. Pat Murphy.
Jansen gave us, nobody's mentioned Jansen yet. You guys paying attention to the game? He caught the whole game. He caught 6 different pitchers, a walk, a hit, and a homer. I thought he was great.
Yeah, catcher Danny Jansen out of West High School in Appleton, Wisconsin, on coming back to Milwaukee against the Reds with the magic number down to 1.
Yeah, it feels great. Good momentum going home for the final 3 games. In front of our home crowd is going to be amazing.
That's the Brewers' Danny Jansen. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
Local news, weather, and sports on air and streaming on the Civic Media app. This is the Civic Media Radio Network.
Tons of sunshine and warmth headed our way, not only today, but for the rest of the week and into the weekend. High temperatures today will hit the mid-70s, and tomorrow flirting with 80. We hold on to the low 80s for Saturday, Sunday, and even into Monday. Enjoy it. I'm meteorologist Brittany Merlot. It's 73 degrees at our studios.
My name is Chuck Collins. I'm the great-grandson of the meatpacker
I don't know.
Oscar Mayer,
I don't know.
and a member of the Patriotic Millionaires, a collection of wealthy Americans who share a profound concern about the dangers of concentrated wealth and power in America. Now, the fact is, you may not care how much money another person has, but you likely do care how much power another person has, especially if they're using that power to rig the rules of the economy to make themselves richer and you poorer. You see, there is a point where money is no longer money, it's power. And when rich people use their money to drown out the voices of everyday people, it threatens the safety and security of us all. Patriotic millionaires don't want to live in a country with a few extremely rich people controlling everything, leaving millions of people struggling to just
Hello, everybody.
Luckily, we have a solution.
Hour number 2
Tax
straight
the
ahead.
rich.
In
Tax
a little
the
less
rich.
than 30
Tax the
seconds.
rich.
30 seconds.
I'm Chuck Collins. I'm a patriotic millionaire, and
From the Civic Media World Headquarters in Madison, Wisconsin, it's the Todd Allbaugh Show. And now, pursuing truth wherever it may lead, here's your host, Todd Allbaugh.
Across Wisconsin on the Civic Media Radio Network and streaming worldwide on the Civic Media app. Good afternoon, everybody. Todd Allbaugh along with Mr. Aaron Zommers on the board. It is now 6 minutes past the hour of 3 o'clock. Welcome into hour number 2 of the big broadcast here on Thursday, September 25th, 2025. It is a great day to be a Wisconsinite. Glad to have you along for hour 2. Downtown Madison, the world headquarters of Civic Media, the crossroads of state. Oh, what happened to the old Sam Davidson street game? All right, just hold on. Zommers will play music and talk to you. I'm going to go over and fix. Oh, look at the bicyclist. Nice shot of the bicyclist. I'll be right back, Zommer.
Ended up working out in our favor with the cameras tilted a little bit down, but with the bicyclists crossing the street with the signal, I may add, it made for a better view of that. Anyway, Todd returns quickly, but now you can see the blue sky.
Look at that beautiful blue sky. Overture Center across. Now, right next door tonight at the Orpheum. And I stayed late last night because, by the way, our friend Pat Kreitlow of Civic Media This Morning with Up North News' own Pat Kreitlow, powered by Courier News Service.
Something like that.
No, Pat Kreitlow's in town, and he's doing a show. He did a show here today in one of the studios, and he's going to do it tomorrow from 6 until 9. Make sure you tune in. And so I helped set up a little thing in the studio for him, little lights and whatnot. And as I was leaving last night, there was a huge line from State Street around the block to Fairchild in front of our building. And I thought, well, they're in line to get Kreitlow's autograph.
Not this time.
No, it wasn't. John Baptiste, former band leader for The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, Grammy award-winning, John Baptiste, is playing next door at the Orpheum Theater last night and tonight. Huge crowds, sellout crowds. And I thought, wouldn't it be nice if John Baptiste would just stop over here today and just maybe bring his portable keyboard and play us a tune? And so now I'm proud to tell you a surprise for the show. John Baptiste is not here.
I was going to say.
Wouldn't that be something, though, if he was out there in the lobby and he just came in?
That would have. It also would be interesting since you didn't tell me about it, and so we'd have to set up all the tech for it on the spot.
That would have been something.
Worth it. But.
Not a match. The board goes back. Anyway, who do we have? We do have Keegan Kelly here. And what's nothing wrong with that? Keegan Kelly will be here at the bottom of the hour, writer for Cracked.com. He's going to be talking about, speaking of late night, Jimmy Kimmel is back on the air on ABC. We talked about that a little bit yesterday. And Keegan Kelly, an entertainment writer, national writer, is going to be here talking about the implications of late night moving forward and also on free speech. So Keegan Kelly will be here as well. Also going to do a What's Worse. Allergy season is upon us. We'll talk about that. And some text to win things as well in just a moment. But first of all, a couple of pieces of business here. The Brewers, as you heard Mike Clemens talk about, back in action tomorrow night. Have the day off. Wouldn't it be great to be walking along the lake and run into Sal Frelick in Milwaukee today?
And John Batiste and Sal Frelick having on the show together.
Now that I could die if that happened.
I was happy for sure.
I was talking to a friend of mine, my friend Rob, and he and his wife and daughter went to a game with me this year. Big, and that's one of the cool things, in my opinion, about the Brewers, is that Rob and I and my buddy Kurt and others were texting about the games during the games. And I think if nothing else, what's so cool about this year's Brewers team is that so many of us have bought into their personal stories. And that's what I love about it. And Sal Frelick's on Instagram. I was going through some of his stuff last night, and he has things posted all the way back to high school. I didn't know he played quarterback.
I didn't either.
For his high school football team. Could have gotten scholarships. He chose baseball late in his high school career and then went on to Boston College. But if you look at his work ethic, and he was also really involved all the way back to high school with the Boys and Girls Club in terms of helping special needs kids and doing like a special needs prom. And he's continued to be involved with that now that he's in the pros. And I'm thinking this guy was in a high school like 6 years ago or so. And now here he is in the big leagues, one of the biggest names in baseball, in the top team of baseball. And he seems like, from what, and how much can we really tell about somebody based on their social media, but to the degree that we can, not just Sal Frelick, but Joey Ortiz and Christy Yelich and go right Durbin and all the Reds, go right through the lineup. This is the smallest market in baseball. And they're one game away from securing the best record in baseball and the number one seed. And the friendship amongst them seems genuine. And that's what, even beyond what they're doing on the field, which is spectacular, but it's the people, as Pat Murphy, the manager, has said. And we're going to have Brady Ewing here tomorrow, our friend and ongoing contributor in the 3:30 time slot. And Brady is going to talk to us as a former NFL player that we're going to ask him at the professional level, how much does friendship and relationship play into success? So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I think it helps at all levels of athletics, of musicianship, of everything. It's just when you have a true connection, it can just hum.
It really can. Brewers back in action tomorrow night at AmFam Field, the final 3 games of the regular season against the Cincinnati Reds. And this is going to be no cakewalk because the Reds are right in the battle for the wild card spot, and they're going to need to win every game. So it's going to be a barn burner at AmFam Field. You can hear the broadcast starting tomorrow night with the pregame show at 6:35. First pitch just after 7 o'clock in Milwaukee. You can hear it on RCE in Richland Center, ISS in Oshkosh, CQM in Park Falls, and BZH in Hayward, Wisconsin. Cannot wait for that. All right, it is now 13 minutes past the hour of 3 o'clock. Time once again for Civic Media's Green and Gold Text to Win multi-state contest. Up for grabs today, $200 cash and gold jewelry. Everybody who enters is eligible for the one grand prize, 2 club-level indoor seats to Green Bay versus Minnesota. Green Bay home game on November 23rd of this year, of course, at high noon. Also throwing in a gas card to get you to the game as a value of $1,550. Open up the Civic Media app. If you don't have it, download it at your Apple or Android device. Open it up. First 10 stations are the ones that we are on. Select one. On the lower right-hand corner, you'll see a little thing that says text, an icon. Click on that. And now we're going to give you the word to text until 4 o'clock today to text in the word twin. The word is twin. T-W-I-N as in Nancy. T as in Todd. W-I-N as in Nancy. The word is twin. You have until 4 o'clock this afternoon to text it in. Remember, it's a multi-state contest. Good luck, everybody. There you go. So play hard, play well, win it all. All right. What should we do? I'm trying to think if I want to do this Obama cut or whether we should go right into what's worse. What's your vote, Somers?
I mean, I couldn't vote for Obama before because I was too young, so I think I'm going to take this opportunity to say I voted for Obama.
You know what? That answer is award-winning. All right. I thought we needed a little context from the wacky and wild news of the day. And for me, nobody could just say things and it's like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Better than former President Barack Obama. He's been doing a lot of speaking engagements lately. And this is from a day or two ago, former President Barack Obama on the violence against the truth.
So we had the spectacle of my successor in the Oval Office making broad claims around certain drugs and autism that have been continuously disproved. And the degree to which that undermines public health, the degree to which that can do harm to women who are pregnant, the degree to which that creates anxiety for parents who do have children who are autistic, which, by the way, itself is subject to a spectrum, and a lot of what is being trumpeted as these massive increases actually have to do with a broadening of the criteria across that spectrum so that people can actually get services and help, not to, it's all of that is violence against the truth.
Barack Obama, former president of the United States, great context there. Violence against the truth. Never heard that phrase before. And he's right. And the truth does matter. 17 past the hour of 3 o'clock. Time once again for What's Worse. Let's go.
This or that, this or that. And of course, the choice is yours. You can get with this or you can get with that.
Time once again for What's Worse. No prize money involved, nothing to give away for this portion. We're still doing the green and gold text to win contest, giving things away there. But this is just your chance to have your voice heard, and what's better than that? To turn on the radio and say, hey, that's me. All right, category today, timely indeed, as Mike Lucas likes to say. Beautiful weather out there right now, but you can feel the goldenrod turning yellow. The corn is turning brown. My grandma used to sing that song. What's worse? Category today, fall allergies or spring allergies. Fall allergies or spring allergies. Give us a ring. 855-752-4842. 855-752-4822. 4842. 4842. I've said that a million times. I still mess it up. Yes. Give us a ring. We'd love to hear from you. Fall allergies or spring allergies. I will break out the medication here and we'll blow our nose and we'll come back. Because this is, I'll reveal my answer after we do some business. But do you think it's possible? You worked in a pharmacy, Somers, for a while. Is it possible that can change with a person?
Yes.
Really?
Allergies can change and develop or go away. I know some people who never had seasonal allergies when they were kids and now they do. Right. And some people for whom seasonal allergies have gotten better. It's that stuff can change. I'm not entirely sure how that works, but I know it is possible.
Well, I mean, we're not trying to pawn you off as a physician, but you did work in a pharmacy and stayed at a Holiday Inn Express.
Indeed. Holiday Inn Express Pharmacy. It was
really?
one deal. Yeah.
I wish I could find one of those. All right. Come on back. What's worse, fall allergies or spring allergies? 855-752-4842. Yes, I got the number right. And text the word twin right now to win those fabulous prizes. Back after this.
MDX, Madison's antidote to hot takes.
Hey, Gordy, I gotta admit, these hearing aids from Madison Hearing Aid Center changed my life.
Mine too, John. I thought I needed subtitles to talk to my grandkids.
And these aren't those old giant clunkers we saw in the old days. It's got Bluetooth, it's rechargeable, the works.
Yeah, my phone connects straight to my ears. I'm basically a cyborg now.
Well, you just figured out texting last year, too.
Yeah, baby steps. But I did call Madison Hearing Aid Center, and you should too. 608-249-4077.
608-249-4077. Tell them John and Gordy sent you.
What is a commercial? It's a message delivered to the people, in this instance through your radio speakers, into your ears. Why, it's like a movie for your brain. This radio commercial is directed to the business community. If you want to reach more customers, you should be using WMDX Radio. It's that simple.
Now,
Just
Matt
email
Middleton,
sales
the
at
question is
WMDXradio.com
spring
and let our
allergies
crack
or
sales team
fall
show you
allergies.
how to make your
Matt
business
has
grow with the
entered
number one
an answer
radio
for
to
winter
humankind,
allergies,
The radio commercial on WMDX. Long may you
which
wait.
is a creative answer. I'll give you that.
Wisconsin, the walk to end
I think he meant fall. But I mean, I don't know. I suppose they're like indoor winter allergies.
Yeah, all the dust, maybe some mold.
Registration is free and easy. Start or join a team today at alz.org/walk.
Tired of that Golf Channel day and night? Maybe it's time to get out there. Coldwater Canyon at Chula Vista Resort in Wisconsin.
Speaking of Bill Berrien.
Traditional front nine and a link-style back nine, perfect for a family outing or a stay-and-play package. And Chula has new thrills like the futuristic Rainbow Rapids Water Park Edition and dual zipline racing, plus Wisconsin's number one rated steakhouse. All on site. Check it all out at ChulaVistaResort.com.
Time once again for another
of all ages.
Bill Berrien campaign
Camp
update.
Print, Scout Workshops, After Dark, and the new Camp Wildside. They also
like
offer
omelets
huge
better than sex.
birthday parties, service
Just
days,
add 'em all in.
and their new pause and
These are
pages
all
reading
real
program.
cuts
Learn
that
more
Zombers
at
has compiled to make me
getshelter.org
laugh and
/education.
very successful at it. All right, here we go.
The falling leaves drift by the window. The autumn leaves of red and gold. I see your lips, the summer kisses, the sunburned hands I used to hold.
Welcome back to the Todd Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network. It has to be the smooth, buttery voice of Nat King Cole.
It sure is.
Very good. Name of the song?
Autumn Leaves.
There you go. Autumn Leaves. Nat King. I could listen to him all afternoon, but sadly, you have to listen to me. It's 20. Now, years ago, Nat King Cole was brought back, kind of, sort of. His daughter, Natalie Cole, did a compilation with her and a late father. It was fantastic. So maybe we could somehow recreate AI. See, AI, right? What if AI could give me Nat King Cole's voice? Now there we'd have a winner.
It could. I think it could get it close. You know.
Really?
And I don't know. AI voices. That's a complicated thing. It can be used to great effect. I can't remember what's his name.
Or not so much.
Yeah. I don't know.
All right, category fall allergies or spring allergies for today's What's Worse, 855-752-4842, 855-752-4842. Ted, listening in Appleton, getting her done on the tarmac. Ted, what say you, fall allergies or spring allergies? What's worse?
Spring.
Spring. What particular reason?
You know that fall, if
the frost hits,
Yeah.
they're done.
Good
For
point.
me, anyhow.
Yeah.
But I got to give you an update, sir,
Please.
on my tongue.
Oh, yes. Yes. Give us the
He
back.
purchased some tongue. It
Yes.
is not his
Yeah.
tongue.
Yeah.
If you weren't listening from a What's Worse a few weeks ago or a few days ago, when we were talking about different meat and Ted brought up tongue. So you purchased tongue, you marinated it, and you said, well, you grilled it?
No, I just ended up boiling it.
No, okay.
And boiled it for about 3.5 hours.
All right.
And it cut like butter.
Really?
It was so tender. Once you get the heart, the outer skin off, it was like butter. It was really good.
I'm sure
You got to try it, Todd. You got to try it, man.
Thank you, Ted, for offering me some of your tongue, but I think I'll pass. I appreciate it. Thanks for all the work you do up there at the beautiful Appleton Airport, and have a great day. What's worse, fall allergies or spring allergies? 855-752-4842. Troy in Mount Horeb listening on WMDX. Troy, fall allergies or spring allergies? What's worse?
Well, including today, my left ear keeps clogging up, and that
You and
doesn't
me both.
happen in the spring. So
Yeah. No fun at all, is it? Now, let me ask you.
I can't hear my alarm. My wife keeps nudging me because I get up at 4:30 in the morning and she doesn't.
Right. Let me ask you this: have your allergies changed? I have So for me, it seems like my fall allergies used to be worse, and now these days it seems like the spring ones are worse. Have yours changed over years or no?
I never even had them till like 10 years ago.
Really? All right.
Yeah.
Mine have
Yeah,
gotten
and then-
worse the older I got.
Yeah. Yeah, and they are getting steadily worse. But when I had COVID, I wake up every morning stuffy, and I'm stuffy for like 2-3 hours.
Yeah.
So when I had COVID, I didn't know it because I thought that was normal because I'd been vaccinated, so
Sure.
it was just like I was stuffy. But then, afternoon I was still stuffy. I'm like, oh yeah, this is different.
Right. Thanks, Troy. Appreciate you. Have a great day out there, beautiful Mount Horeb. Fall allergies or spring allergies? What's worse? 855-752-4842. 855-752-4842. Matt in Middleton, listening on WMDX on the text line, says spring is worse, as I want to be out doing things whereas in the winter allergies don't bother me, as I'm usually inside with a hot beverage. All right, so I'm not sure if he added a new category, if he just mistyped and meant the fall. But I suppose dust mites and the like, right, Zalbers? You get winter allergies.
Get real dusty, yeah.
Right. Now, here's something I learned recently, by the way. I don't think I talked about this on the air yet. Because I've always thought I had a kind of a, depending upon the cat, a cat allergy. Now, I learned from someone who has cats recently that they said, well, if you only are affected by some cats, it's not the cat. It has to do with how they keep their house clean because of and their cat clean, I guess, because of the dust mites on the cat and in the carpet and whatnot. So it's
Interesting.
not necessarily the cat. It's how clean the cat is kept.
I never thought about maybe if I ask my friends to clean their kitties, that maybe I won't have such problems in the house.
Do you keep a clean cat?
Maybe it's a question we all need to
That
ask.
sounds like a dating question. But anyway, 855-752-4842. Ollie in the North Woods. Ollie, fall allergies or spring allergies? What's worse?
Well, I think spring allergies are worse because once they start, they're generally running all through the summer and don't stop until the first frost and stuff in the fall. So
Right.
I'd definitely say spring ones are worse.
All right, appreciate it, Ollie. I hope you have a great afternoon up there in the beautiful North Woods. Off the text line, Dolores on WMDX in Madison, weighing in on Ted's earlier category of of Know Your Cuts of Meat. Dolores says tongue tacos are delicious.
We're talking about food.
I'm only going to read that and offering nothing more. Linda in Middleton on WMDX says fall allergies are worse because of corn pollen. Zommers, quickly.
For me, spring allergies are worse. It's just, they always hit me harder.
They are for me now as well. It used to be fall, now it's spring. All right, come on back. Keegan Kelly, late night. Jimmy Kimmel, what it means for free speech. We'll talk with him after this. Farm News is next on the Civic Media Radio Network.
WMDX Madison, the only station with more kayaks than callers.
Farm news that impacts you and
Look
your
at Keegan
community
Kelly.
from the Midwest Farm Report.
How are you,
throughout
Keegan?
your day.
I'm all right. How are you, Todd?
I'm well. Spring allergies or fall allergies? What's worse?
All of it. I hate it all. I think I get it a little worse in the spring.
Do you?
But yeah, I mean it's.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. Now do you have pet allergies?
I have none. We have 2 cats as well, but.
All right, so let me ask you, because I just said this on the air, that somebody told me recently that, because it depends on, I thought it was like the type of cat, the breed of cat. Because I've been around some cats and it doesn't really bother me. Other cats, I just, terrible. And they said it's not the cat. It's how clean the cat is kept and how well the home that the cat lives in is kept, and it has to do with the dust mites. Have you heard this before?
It also does have to do with the cat. I believe it also does have to do.
Zommers immediately saying, no, your friend is wrong.
Well, no, I think that is also accurate. I think, like, you can be allergic to certain kinds of dust mites and stuff, but also, most cat allergies are based on enzymes in their spit, and not all of them have the same enzymes.
What?
Yeah. Cat allergies is you're allergic to their spit, and because they clean themselves and then their hair, they shed, the spit gets everywhere.
I want to get a veterinarian on the show to back this up. Have you heard of this, Keegan?
I had no idea.
See, the man owns 2 cats. He didn't know.
My girlfriend who I live with, she didn't even know what toxoplasmosis was until like 3 weeks ago when I had to teach her about it. So we're very ignorant cat owners. We keep a clean house, though.
I'm sure you do. I'm not judging from afar by any means. Now, this is a true story. This is 15 years ago or more. I had a date with a guy that I'd only met a couple of times, and we went to his place. And it was not going particularly well. And he had a cat. And so to get out of the situation, I said, oh, boy, I didn't know you had a cat. I need to go. I'm sorry, dude. Like, I used the cat to get away.
It's like a George Costanza move.
It is.
Yeah, it's 100% a George Costanza move. Yes, I absolutely used it.
According to WebMD, people with cat allergies are really allergic to proteins in the cat's saliva, urine, and dander.
In the urine as well?
Yeah, it's not the fur or the hair.
But dander, I mean, the dander is in the fur.
Right, it's not the hair itself. You're allergic to their spit.
Zommers is very specific, He's gonna...
This is true.
All right, let's turn our attention to late night.
Okay.
Keegan, we'll start with Kimmel. What we got here? I got one short clip, just CNN talking about the Nielsen numbers. So we give your overall, let's get your overall impression of that. We played a couple of clips yesterday, and we can go through that. And then I think CP said we're going to talk a little bit about South Park as well. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm happy to.
All right, very good. Da, 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 da.
Nightlight with Pete Schwaba. My problem is I don't ever eat fish fries, so when I do it, I overdo it. I ordered a large.
Zommers, it's not the hair, it's the dander and the spit.
It's true.
Well, what do you think the dander and the spit is on?
But it's not the hair itself. It's just attached to it.
Keegan's like, I really gave up a half an hour of my life for this.
I'm happy to do it.
You're too kind. You're too kind.
The Civic Media app.
Doctors Without Borders is delivering.
And we have a larger audience than normal because we had Dan Schaefer on. And so we have all these people watching the stream today because Dan Schaefer has a huge social media following. You should see his OnlyFans page. No, I'm just kidding.
All right, about 20 seconds.
I think. NBC has confirmed that Taylor Swift will appear on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon on October 6th, according to Late Nighter.
Oh, can't cancel that.
Wherever it may lead and having fun doing it. Welcome back to the Todd Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network. Glad to have you along. 35 minutes now past the hour of 3 o'clock. Aaron Zommers running it on the board, doing a yeoman's work as always. Quick update for you. We're right smack dab in the middle of our green and gold text to win contest. Your chance to win $200 cash and gold jewelry. And then everybody is entered in for a fabulous prize of an indoor seat to Green Bay versus Minnesota in November. It's a prize package valued at $1,550. Yours, if the price is right. Oh, and it's also a multi-state contest. You can enter by texting the word TWIN, TWIN. Text the word TWIN right now on the Civic Media app. There is no twin. He is singular. He comes to us from crack.com, a beautiful staff writer and entertainment reporter. Keegan Kelly is back on the show, live from his home via StreamYard. Keegan, thanks for coming back. How are you?
Thanks for having me. Better than I was last time. I'll say that
Right.
much. Yeah, some sense has returned to TV.
Some sense. We're talking, of course, Keegan was kind enough to join us shortly after ABC and Disney did the suspension, the indefinite suspension, they called it, of Jimmy Kimmel after his remarks following the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Want to point out they were not comments directed at the deceased, but rather at Donald Trump's reaction to it. But for that, he was taken off the air. They came to an agreement, Disney and Kimmel did, and he was back on the air, Keegan, on Tuesday, albeit not on all of the stations. Those which were owned by Nexstar and Sinclair did not carry it. I guess they carried more of the Family Feud, Celebrity, whatever. But what was your reaction to the return of Jimmy Kimmel, Keegan?
I thought he really stuck the landing here, in my opinion. I know that he's gotten some criticism from further left people who feel like he should have gone in harder on the Trump administration. He should have had a little bit more fire, a little bit more anger, but I don't think that was appropriate for the moment. He had unprecedented attention and eyeballs on him, and I think that the smart move there wasn't to escalate any kind of war or try to pull some punches of his own, but it was to paint this as what it really was. It was a First Amendment issue. And that affects everyone. That affects conservatives, that affects liberals. And he did a very good point of calling attention to his conservative, I don't want to say allies, but maybe temporary defenders. He name-dropped Ted Cruz at one point. And he really said, this is not a partisan issue. This is the government trying to do something that it's not allowed to do. He took it very seriously. He did have a few pretty good punchlines here and there. I think my favorite joke in the night is when he said that Ted Cruz knows the freedom of speech is important because how else is he going to cast curses on the Smurfs?
Right, that was pretty good. I liked the line. I'm not going to get it verbatim, but basically he said, Donald Trump said I was taken off the air because I don't have good ratings. Well, tonight I do. I thought that was pretty good. To that point, we have a quick clip from CNN, who broke in last night on the cable news network to talk about the numbers being in on Nielsen on Kimmel.
All right, the breaking news, Jimmy Kimmel. The ratings are in for the first day. And by the way, this is just on the linear here we'll share. 6.2 million, 6.26, actually, 6.25 million viewers on ABC. That was 4 times Jimmy Kimmel's average. And that's despite the show not even being available in a quarter of all American homes. And the reason for that, of course, is those local TV station owners, Nexstar and Sinclair, they're refusing to air Kimmel's program. So even without a quarter of households, they managed to do that incredible surge. Last night's surge show was Kimmel's most watched show. In fact, since March 12th, 2015. So you got to go back more than 10 years. President Obama at the time was Jimmy Kimmel's guest that night.
That is CNN on the Nielsen numbers out for Jimmy Kimmel's first appearance back after being temporarily suspended on Tuesday. Keegan, you watch these things more than anyone else. Boy, if you wanted earned media for your show, if you're Jimmy Kimmel, you got it.
Oh, yeah. And that's not even counting the attention this got on social media and on streaming. I'm looking at the number here. His opening monologue from his first show back, over 20 million views on YouTube in less than 2 days. And that's astronomical. I mean, that never happens in late night. And that's important, too, because, as you said, these broadcasting groups, Nexstar and Sinclair, they've preempted Kimmel and plan to continue to do so. Who knows how long that'll go on, maybe forever. But that's really not where the business is at this point, is these local affiliates. I believe they own 23% of ABC stations, local ABC stations across the country. But that's just not where late night is anymore. That's not where TV is. It's streaming, it's social media, it's the attention that it gets kind of after it's aired, and man, does Kimmel have it right now. And it's even continued until last night. He still put up pretty impressive numbers. You know, I think a lot of people anticipated that there would be a deflation, I guess. People would lose interest once they saw he was back, and late night kind of returned to normal, but that hasn't happened, both online and on TV.
You brought this up on other appearances, and I think it's such a great time to talk about this. And you talked about it in the context of part of the reason, perhaps, that CBS decided to cancel late night was they just weren't really living up to expectations on social media, say the way that James Corden was when he was on the Late Late Show on CBS. To this point, this according to LateNighter.com today, saying that prior to suspension, Jimmy Kimmel Live had been growing on Instagram by about 2,000 followers daily. During the first 24 hours after ABC announced it was indefinitely pulling the show, Jimmy Kimmel Live picked up 130,000 followers. The show is now closing in on 5 million, up from 4.5 million last week. Again, proving your point, Keegan Kelly, that this is only, Kimmel's contract is up right at the end of this year. I mean, could this be a whole new life for Kimmel potentially?
I think that it's certainly worth the week-long vacation that he got. I mean, I think there's a real possibility here that there is this kind of resurgence, that now that the president has kind of made late night a battleground for the First Amendment, there's going to be a lot of people tuning in just to keep it alive. And I think that's very possible that this extends the show's lifespan.
I think it was, I'm kind of confused with my days. It was either Tuesday or last night. I think it was last night when Colbert was talking about this a little bit, and he said, "Hey, Disney reversed the decision and brought back Jimmy Kimmel. Hey, Paramount, any announcement you'd like to make?"
Yeah.
And no, they haven't. Kimmel or Colbert is still canceled as of May.
Yeah, I think he said he's back to being the only martyr in late night.
Yes, that was what it was.
Which hopefully he stays the only one.
Right? No, absolutely. Also, and he talked about a little bit on last night's show, Jimmy Kimmel did. He's coming to Brooklyn, I believe, next week. And, a huge lineup. So, again, if you look at what this episode has done, money-wise, ratings-wise, and now we're hearing, and I guess this is the question I wanted to ask if you have any intelligence on this in terms of your reporting. I saw something on some feed, and this is why we have to be very, very careful. There are some reporting / rumors out there that Nexstar and Sinclair are now being told by Disney ABC, because of what you just said about the resurgence, that if they don't start showing Kimmel again, that ABC Disney might say no Monday Night Football, Sinclair Nexstar, and no ABC World News Tonight, the #1 nightly news show with David Muir. Is that accurate or not?
I can't speak to the validity, but I can look at how Nexstar and Sinclair have responded after Kimmel came back, because their initial comments were pretty harsh. They very fiercely condemned him. They, I would say, kept in line with the White House's official stance on his comments and misrepresented them, I felt, and I think you feel the same, as saying something he didn't as an excuse to take him off the air. But afterwards, the releases that they put out were along the lines of, we are having very constructive talks, we hope to reach a resolution, we're going to keep preempting him for now, but we hope to find a conclusion to this soon. It was much softer language, not this big ultimatum. There were no more threats, there were no demands that he donate to Turning Point USA, as they previously told him to do. So their stance has certainly softened, and very quickly. So I wouldn't be surprised if there is some behind-the-scenes pressure going on in between Disney and these groups.
We're talking with writer for Cracked.com, Keegan Kelly. You can find all of his work and writing at Cracked.com, talking about the return of Jimmy Kimmel Live to ABC and what it means to late night and free speech in general. Talk to us a minute, Keegan, a couple of minutes here before the break. What do you think is the impact beyond Kimmel? Like we say, CBS probably not bringing back Colbert, but what is going to be the impact on late night and just television entertainment in general because of Kimmel and Disney, apparently, at least for now, standing up to the Trump administration?
I think it's bought us some time. I think that the problems that existed in the industry previously, which you and I have talked about, just about economic viability and how the platforms have changed, those still exist. But I think the censorship concerns at this point, I mean, I can't remember the last time a media company the size of Disney completely reversed course this quickly because of public blowback. And I think that's a good sign that the precedent has been set that if you do take critics off the air, if you silence comedians because they don't agree with the White House, it's not something that their viewers are going to take lying down. There's going to be subscribers boycotting. There's going to be cancellations of subscriptions. There's going to be the exact media firestorm that we saw for the last week. So I do think that this is a good sign for the safety.
And quickly, was there anything to, I saw a $3 billion number thrown around, any credibility to that number? But clearly, to your point, Disney must have felt this in the pocketbook at some way to bring him back so quickly.
I don't think anyone has an exact number on the Disney pocketbook besides Disney. I $3 billion feels like a lot, but it was enough to bring them back to the table. It was enough to bring Kimmel back, and that's all that matters at the end of the day.
I can't talk to the validity of the $3 billion number. I will tell you that earlier today I was down and I saw Mickey and Minnie Mouse standing in line for government cheese. So I mean, there's that. I can't speak to anything else. I got to do a little business here, and we're going to come back, talk more with Keegan Kelly at Cracked.com, and not just Kimmel, but also South Park and other programs have felt the heat of the Trump administration. What does this impact them and free speech for entertainment in general? Don't forget to text the word TWIN, TWIN, to the Civic Media app to be in for the green and gold text to win contest. Come on back. It's Keegan, it's Todd, it's Summers. Your phone calls as well across Wisconsin on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Reach Engage,
Fantastic,
grow
Mr.
with
Kelly.
Civic Media. Log on civicmedia.us.
We have a caller, Carmela from Milwaukee, has a question on Kimmel, and then we'll go to South Park.
Are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around
Somebody just texted the word
You're
Andy.
putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get
That's
real
not-
cash?
He's
back?
given his
If you
name,
like
I'm
free
sure.
money,
Oh, I see.
download Upside.
I'm saving
Like the
the
word
cash
is
I earned
twin.
from using Upside to help pay for a vacation
But
later
feel
this
free
year.
to text the word
Download the
Andy,
free
but it
Upside app
won't
now to
count.
earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code COOL to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or
I
a
wish
gift
I had a
card for
headshot.
Amazon
Look
and
at
other
look
apps.
how
Just download
great
the
Kimmel. I
free
mean,
Upside
also
app
I
and
wish I had the
use
looks of
promo
Jimmy
code
Kimmel.
COOL
But I mean,
for a
look at that.
25
I mean,
cents
that's
per gallon
that's
bonus on your first
fantastic.
tank. That's code COOL for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
What's your, besides, I mean, well, obviously your number
Are
one source for
unauthorized
entertainment
immigrants
news is
eligible for
crack.com.
federal Medicaid
But
coverage?
secondarily,
No.
Keegan,
Unauthorized immigrants are
what
not
things do you like to
eligible for
read
traditional
that are
federally funded Medicaid health
factual
insurance
on
and never
late
have
night and
been.
entertainment?
A 1996 law also
I
requires
follow a
most
lot of,
authorized immigrants
I
to
guess,
wait 5
insiders,
years for
people who
eligibility.
get
14
primary
states, not
sources.
including Wisconsin, use state
A big one
funds
is, I
to
don't know if you know
cover
Matthew
unauthorized
Bellany. He's
immigrants.
the founder of
President Trump
Puck
has
News.
proposed cutting
He's a
federal
great one.
Medicaid funds
Yeah,
to those
he's
states, which could drop
there's a
1.4
nice little
million people from
ecosystem that,
healthcare
you know,
coverage. In Wisconsin, Medicaid
either
covers
subscription or
1.28
free on
million
Twitter.
people at a
They
cost
keep
of
me,
$12.1 billion.
you know, pretty abreast.
Because we see this in outside of entertainment, political news. I mean, it's just we've had this discussion, Zommers and I, on the show, is that it's almost come to the point where anything before I report it as fact on this show, you almost have to do your own fact search to make sure, well, is this really real?
Like teamwork,
It's a big part of the job.
Yeah, or kind of couch it like I did, say, hey, I saw this, I don't know it to be true, these are rumors out there, and
every student's education.
I don't know, it's so frustrating.
It's weird to be saying, there are rumors. People are saying when your source is the president of the United States, but that's
Or like,
probably
U.S. Department of Labor Statistics, or the FBI.
This is Jim Santel, the host of Amicus.
We don't know it to be true, but this is what they're
of
saying.
Civic Media. Every step you take at the Dane County Walk to
30
End
seconds. All right, thank
Alzheimer's
you.
brings hope to families.
Welcome back to the Todd Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network, where it is now 8 minutes before the hour of 4 o'clock. At the top of the hour, ABC or CBS News, depending upon which of our great stations you're listening to, followed by a check of weather with Brittany Merlot. It's beautiful. That's the forecast. And then we're going to have a sports report with a great sports reporter, Mike Clemens, bringing you up to speed. The Brew Crew gets back a day off today. And they are 1 game, 1 win, or 1 Philadelphia Phillies loss away from securing the best record in baseball and home field advantage throughout the playoffs. Clemens will be in with that. And then stay tuned for a very special edition of the Maggie Dawn Show live on location out in my part of the woods, beautiful Spring Green, Wisconsin, from Reinsinger Hilltop Farm in Spring Green. Great show focusing on Wisconsin agriculture. Join Maggie and her guests from 4 until 6, and stick around then for Pete Schwabe and Nightlight. All right, here joining us via StreamYard, Keegan Kelly, writer for Cracked.com, entertainment reporter on Jimmy Kimmel, coming back. Quickly, let's go to the phone lines. Carmela in Milwaukee, listening on WAUK. Carmela, quickly, I had a question on Kimmel.
Not a question, more a statement. Just
Sure.
that as Tom from LA always says, we the people. This really showed how much the people can fight back and make a difference. I mean, we're always talking about voting and do other things. this hit them right in the pocketbook, canceled subscriptions, outrage, everything. So, yeah, I just wanted to state that. I'm really proud of pretty much everybody who made this happen in this quickly.
Appreciate it, Carmela. Thanks for listening down there, beautiful Milwaukee. Also, Keegan, somebody just called in to say Kimmel for president, and then hung up apparently. So there you go. I mean, it's certainly helping his favorabilities, as we say in politics.
Yeah, we're 0 for 1 with TV stars becoming president, but hey, I mean, anything's better than what we got now.
Nicely done, Keegan Kelly. That's great. Yeah, I'm tired of living a White House version of The Apprentice. So let's talk quickly here about not just Kimmel, but also South Park has been really going at the Trump administration. And what does this Kimmel coming back to you for the viability of programs, not just South Park, but other shows that go after any administration, not just the Trump administration?
Well, it certainly... I think it takes the wind out of the FCC's sails a little bit. Brendan Carr, the chair of the FCC and a co-author on Project 2025, he was featured pretty heavily last night in the new episode of South Park, almost none of which I could recount without heavy censorship on this show. But they were really thumbing their nose at him and making him look ineffectual and, this kind of tool, this puppet, this punching bag, really. And it really showed that the comedians are not going to back down on this. And it's not a war that you can win through intimidation. If Trump really thinks that, the next cultural battlefield is comedy, is TV. Because the more that he shows that this stuff is getting to him, the more people like Trey Parker and Matt Stone and Jimmy Kimmel are going to go after him. Like, that's just the rule of comedy.
I think that's a great point. And we see that on the political side too, right? Where Trump said he was going to send in ICE and military into Chicago, and the mayor there sent out the sanitation trucks to make basically a border on the interstates and said, no, we're not letting you in. And Governor Pritzker just really stood up to him. And Trump basically backed away and said, okay, we'll go to Memphis then. And I think to your point, this stand by Disney and Kimmel, I think is going to make the Trump administration and Carr at the FCC think twice before coming after another show.
I hope so. And as we've already talked about, the worry here is that they did succeed with Nexstar and Sinclair and these broadcasting affiliates. For the time being, we'll see where those cards fall, but that's really the concerning part to me, because the FCC does absolutely have the ability to influence these businesses and maybe not fully pull their broadcasting licenses as they previously threatened to do. Brendan Carr's walked that one back, but they can have a real effect on their bottom line. So that's the part I'm most worried about. But the good news is that the big boys, the big companies like Disney, they're starting to push back.
Does this, and we only got about a couple minutes left here, but does to your point, cable, streaming services, Netflix aren't regulated by the FCC. Does this push some of this content? People like Colbert just going to say, the heck with broadcast, we're going somewhere where the FCC can't regulate us.
I hope it does, because I don't think broadcast is doing very much for late night as it is, notwithstanding who's running the FCC. That's really been the struggle of broadcasts to kind of compete in this internet age where all TV content really needs to be clickable. And I think that if this is what pushes these legacy shows in that direction, that could be kind of a blessing in disguise for the entire industry.
And see, I don't disagree with you necessarily. It just breaks my heart as an older guy who loves broadcast television and radio to think that things are. But you're right. I mean, it doesn't matter whether it's this genre or television or whatever. It all has to end up on the old, iPhone, smartphone, so that people can download it and watch it at their convenience, as they say. You can read Keegan Kelly's work at your convenience at cracked.com. Keegan Kelly, thank you very much for your time and your perspective. We always appreciate it, my friend.
Thank you, Todd.
Always a pleasure. Keegan Kelly from cracked.com. Find all of his work there. Great show today. Many thanks to Matt Flynn, to Dan Schaefer, the Recombobulation Area.news. You can find all of his work there. To Aaron Zommers, our great producer and engineer, and all of you for listening. Don't forget, stay tuned. Maggie Dawn is live on location from Spring Green, from Risinger Hilltop Farm. Going to be a great show. Until tomorrow, when we'll have Brady Ewing here talking about the Badgers and the Packers and the Brewers and bow hunting. Whatever you believe in, whatever you are fighting for, do not give up. Keep banging your drum. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. All right. Thank you, Keegan. Great job. Really appreciate you.
Thank you, Todd. Always
All
a
right,
pleasure.
Me as well. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.